And 3, 2, 1, and we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's session. We're going to get started in a minute's time. Very excited you could all join us today. Just a couple of caveats as we're starting, so you all know this webinar is being recorded. Okay, so you will get a copy of the. Excuse me. You will get a copy of the recording. Oh, there we go. Sorry. You will get a copy of recording in the next 24 hours or so. So if you do have to leave early for any time, do not worry. As I said, you will get a copy of the recording. Going to get started in about 1 minute's time. Before we do, as a sort of like as a recurring theme we have here at Powtoon, feel free to shout out your name and where it is in the world you're coming from and you're joining us from in the chat. I'll be sure to give you a shout out very, very shortly. We're just allowing people to join. Maybe it's it's currently 4 o'clock in the afternoon here in London, England, where Powtoon's European HQ is located. That would make it 11 a.m. on the East Coast, 8 a.m. on the Pacific Coast. So if you're joining us from that side of the world, thank you so much and good morning to you. That would be 5 p.m., I believe, Central European time. Got a lot of people joining. Let's see who we've got here. We've got, well, just so many people. A few shout out here. Bianca joining us from Romania. Jenna from Newcastle in England, just up the road from London, I suppose. Carolyn joining us from California, 8 a.m. in the morning. Carolyn, thank you so much for joining us. Going to get started in about 30 seconds time. Jake joining us from London. Natalie from Oklahoma. Renee joining us from... Hi, Renee. We spoke a few days ago, didn't we, through email? I'm so glad you're joining. She's joining us from beautiful Vienna in Austria. Daniel joining us from London. Sandeep from Mumbai. Ryan from St. Louis. Joe joining us from, I'm not even going to say it, Joe, but I'm just going to say Ontario, Canada. I think everyone can see the city name. Bob Kayajun. I'm not going to even attempt that. Aaron from Germany. Thank you so much for joining us. Aaron. Augustina from beautiful Buenos Aires. Okay, I've got a lot of people joined already. Let's get started. I perceive we don't have any audio there, which is very strange. Bear with me 1 second.
The mold, give you some more, make it overdose. Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more.
Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more, make it overdose. Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more.
Tell you what, that music never fails to get me excited and re-energize me. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for Prompt and Play. If you attended our AI unboxing webinar at the end of June, you saw how our unified AI video platform transformed a dry compliance document into cinematic video. What we did during that session was we created a real-world example, if you remember, taking essentially a dry occupational health document, and we transformed it into a real-world based video using VO3 AI avatars, and then we translated it into Spanish, I believe. As a little reminder, as a little refresher, this is the video that we showcased in that session. This is the video we built a couple of months ago using Google VO3.
Oh no, here it comes.
So, did your Tinder match survive date night?
It was clearly meant to be a joke, but
Not everyone is laughing. Discomfort can be silent. Intent doesn't erase impact.
Man, you're wild.
Your choices shape your culture. Doing the right thing starts with speaking up.
I'm really sorry. That joke was out of line.
And there we go. Okay, so the overwhelming response we had from that session at the end of June, from the thousands who either attended or watched the replay, came with one recurring question. How do I actually write a prompt that can deliver a story-based video like that one we just saw to deliver the results that I really need? Well, that's exactly why we're here today, to master the skill that makes it all work, prompting, okay? Today, we've got a jam-packed session full of insights, taking you through how you can use Google VO3 across L&D, comms, marketing, HR, together with the 10 core principles of prompting. We're then going to show you how it all works in practice with VO3-based templates that we created inside Powtoon that are shortly going to be available for you to use, as well as our AI prompt director, which nobody has seen before yet. We're releasing it today exclusively for you. That prompt director, by the way, is going to take all of the learnings of this session and enable you to become the master of prompt-based video for use inside Google VO3. And then finally, we are going to have a Q&A. We will leave time for questions at the end. So during the course of this webinar, if any questions come to mind, please ideally leave them in the questions box, and we'll get to some of those questions at the end of the session. I want to be honest with ourselves just a second. We've all been here. We've all opened Google VO and typed in make a safety training video, right? The result is something vaguely related to a safety training video, right? So usually quite generic and certainly not usable for your brand. So when you do that and you don't get the results you like, you reprompt, you try again, you hope for the best, and the time and the costs really pile up. The frustration builds, and then you probably give up and walk away halfway through. That's what we refer to as type and pray, and it kills momentum and it kills productivity. I'm going to show you a Powtoon now. This is an example from one of our customers, Dicom, who were trying to create a safety training video using Google VO3, but they found it very challenging. They found it difficult to convey the right brand, the right tone for their organization, right? The right emotions, and even the direction of some of the characters. I'm going to show you that video now, and then we'll come back to it in a second.
Get the bleep off my property. You can't bleep dig here.
Let's go!
Get the flap off my property. You can't flap and dig here. Get the flap off my property. You can't flap and dig here. Get the flap off my property. You can't flap and dig here.
So there we go. So that's cute. It's a nice video. I think you get what's going on there. Dicom, the engineering organization, they're trying to dig in the road and the homeowners aren't happy, or dig in the garden, the homeowners aren't happy. But clearly there were some issues with that video. You saw some of the characters walking backwards, not really, you know, he's just walked back over this do not cross line. You know, it didn't really make sense. This was created by Dicom, and they approached us to say, listen, we're really struggling here. We're struggling to get the right prompt for use within this video.
Get the bleep off my...
So we transformed it for them. Well, actually, in fairness, we didn't transform it for them. We didn't build them a new video. We provided them with new prompts, okay? Just new prompts. So we helped them rebuild this video from scratch using more structured prompts, okay? As well as adding what we call a reference image to the Google VO3 tool, which I'll come to very shortly. So it's the same use case, but a structured approach, which is really a key element of prompting, just better prompting. On the screen here, you'll see part of that prompt. I'll just read it out. Wide shot of 3 telecom field workers checking printed plans and pulling cables silently. Realistic documentary, handheld style, natural light. It's really complex. It's really detailed, that prompt. In order to create a cinematic video, a truly professional cinematic video with VO3, you do need to use a prompt of that detail, let's say, that complexity. But we have produced a tool that provides exactly that for you automatically. I'm going to share it with you very soon. But using that tool, our AI prompt director, suddenly the visuals aligned. The story works, right? So this detailed prompt really allowed them to generate a professional video. This is what we call prompt and play, and it changes everything. I'm going to share with you some of that video. Remember, Powtoon didn't create this. We just shared the prompt with DICOM. Here we go.
That should be everything.
Yeah, looks good.
Let's do the last one.
Hey! Get the off my property! You can't dig here!
How did we get here? It was just another job. Your crew followed all the right steps. But someone didn't understand what you were doing or didn't care. And now they're angry, yelling, and headed straight for you. In these moments, it's natural to feel the urge to react, to match the other person's energy. But safety starts when we choose a de-escalating response instead. De-escalation is how we take control of the moment, not through confrontation, but through calm actions that reduce tension and prevent things from escalating further. We often work in full view of the public, alongside.
So there we go. So again, for context, the video was created by DICOM after Powtoon, after we'd given them more structured prompts. And you see already how much clearer, how cleaner that entire video is. And it turns into like a learning engagement video, essentially. The issues they had with the original video they produced is they couldn't quite get the color scheme of the high visibility jackets and the clothing. So we just gave them the exact prompts they needed, and they were so happy. They were beyond happy with the results. And we didn't do anything. We didn't build it. We just created a prompt for them using our prompt director. And the prompt director, I'm telling you, will change everything. Now, if we go to the next slide here, we're going to show you today, in fact, we've shown you a couple already, examples across most HR, L&D, and internal comms areas of how to apply AI to your video. So finally, you're going to be able to move from generic, disconnected content to branded, relevant, engaging experiences that drive real change in the workplace. So communicating new policies or benefits or safety protocols often previously relied on dry, text-heavy documents. So VO3 can bring these to life. So for example, a company can generate a short cinematic video that visually explains a new parental leave policy or demonstrates proper fire safety procedures, right? Making the information more accessible and easier to retain. And this applies really to almost every area across the business, across these fields. We highlighted a few use cases here, a few examples here, but the possibilities on how you can use VO3 in the workplace are endless. Powtoon, of course, is well known. Our roots are in animation. We're well known for animation, but sometimes animation just isn't suitable for a particular use case, a particular brief or a particular project, and you need to use real video, B-roll video, right? Of course, you can go out and shoot that video yourself, hire film crews, but the whole point of creating custom, or previously of creating custom professional videos, yeah, these film crews require big budgets, all of which makes scaling of that video or that's video production practically impossible, right? And there are cheaper alternatives, so things like generic stock media, you can use non-branded characters, basic narration, but it just doesn't cut it for professional standards anymore. So with VO3, this changes dramatically, right? Going from high production costs to massive savings on both time and money, and then going from disconnected feelings because using things like generic stock footage doesn't really invoke emotion, to creating emotional, engaging content, right? And the ability to combine VO3 with already, your already existing workflows. There's two key areas that we're going to focus on now, and that's brand consistency and safety and simulation. This are two areas in particular where VO3 really comes into its own with Powtoon. So with brand consistency, with VO3, essentially, if you're prompting correctly, you can embed and reflect your brand, your culture, which is almost impossible to do with generic stock footage, right? And then with safety and simulation, you can simulate risky or unsafe scenarios in the workplace with no risk to actors or the facility. That's something we're going to be doing very, very soon. And we're going to go into these in more detail in the next section, where I'm going to show you how to create these elements easily with Powtoon together with the AI prompt director. And essentially, I think what's going to happen is this is going to transform how organizations communicate, right? From static, text-heavy content to dynamic, engaging, story-based video that drives real results, okay? But before we start prompting, it's vital just to understand and get a basic grasp of the basics of a good prompt. Now, when you registered for the webinar, you would have received, you may or may not remember, a guide which we shared with you, which basically listed out the 10 core principles of prompting. These principles basically revolve around 3 categories: scene foundation, character and action, and enterprise polish. Okay, you know, things in scene foundation is you need to consider the location of the scene, right? The lighting, is it natural? Is it daylight? Is it you know, the clarity of the role? Like, what is the role of your character? Enterprise polish, things like brand asset. Is it important to have a red jacket or a blue coat? Those type of things, right? It's a lot to consider each time. I do appreciate it, which is why we've built this prompt director for you, okay? So let's get into it. Let's get practical and show you an example of what we've done. So we have actually created a number of plug and play templates for your most common use cases. And these templates have been created using Google VO3 together with Powtoon assets. So that they are actual templates that are going to be available for you shortly inside your workplace. So we're talking about templates with generative video inside it, generative B-roll video inside it. It's going to be available for you to use, covering a wide variety of use cases, from compliance training to internal communications, training videos. But if you have any specific use cases internally where you'd like to see those reflected as templates in Powtoon, please put those use cases into the chat now, and our product team will be more than happy to review them. So we're talking about VO3 templates with generative B-roll media. If you have any use cases, put them in the chat and we'll review those, okay? Now, all the templates we built incorporate the 10 actionable principles of prompting I just showed you on the previous slide. So it's all covered, right? So you can be sure that you're going to get professional results without having to remember every detail of that prompting framework, right? Let me give you an example of how easy this is in practice. This is a template of ours that I've opened up inside the studio, okay? Let me show you how easy it is to adapt this template to match your office environment and your culture and match the message that you want to convey, okay? So this is a template on compliance, IT compliance phishing alert. You've probably seen documents or standard videos, you know, throughout your time with your organizations. And you can see the office here is quite relaxed and casual. It could be an agency, marketing agency, design agency, that type of thing. The B-roll video in this Powtoon has been generated using Google VO3. And when you open the templates in the studio and you go to the script, you'll see that we've actually supplied the very same prompt that we've used to generate this B-roll video. I will play this Powtoon for you very shortly here, okay? We've generated it here so you can see how we've actually built the video, which you can then go on and edit. Now, I'm going to play a few seconds of this video just for a bit of context. Remember, this is a template we built in Powtoon for you.
At Powtoon, we move fast and we build great things together. It all relies on trust. Trust in our tech and trust in each other. But in the rush of a busy day, it's easy to forget that every click has an effect.
Oh. I got the urgent mail. It says need to update the Q2 sales sheet.
Wow, it's really urgent. Need to update the document.
But did we finish work on Q2 2 months ago?
Okay, I'll just pause that for now. Again, just to reiterate the context of this, this was a template, a B-roll generative video created by Google VO3. It's people in the workplace. This guy here has received what we believe to be a phishing email. Obviously, it goes on, but we're not going to go into it in such great detail now, but you get the gist. That's what it is. But it is a template, okay? So the prompts are here inside the script for you. Now, as you can see, what we've actually done here in this template, as we've done with all our VO3 templates, is we've combined VO3 with the core elements of Powtoon, right? Which enables you to customize any element or message you want to convey. What I mean by this is we've added just text. We've added a text box into this slide. So yes, it's an IT compliance and phishing alert, but it's a template. So you can delete that and change the topic as much or as little as you like. You'll notice on slide 5 here, it then switched to the point of view of the actor, let's say, of the character in question. But of course, you could take this template and edit the subject matter. You can edit the topic, whatever you need to do to match your brand. So it's completely customizable. So we've combined both Google VO3 and Powtoon's visual assets as well. That's the great thing about having Google VO3 and Powtoon is you can capitalize and take advantage of all the assets, whatever it might be, characters, avatars, props, whatever it might be. Okay. So this template is like, very much like any other template in Powtoon. They're useful starting points, okay? And they're no different from our other templates. Instead of replacing a character, let's say, you can simply replace text. You can simply replace a prompt to get the visual style that you want. And I'm going to show you an example of what I mean, okay? We can see here on slide 1 that this is a casual, kind of a casual office, okay? And the script we gave to achieve that look was modern, vibrant, and approachable, yada, yada. The actors said the actors should be smart, casual to business, avoiding overly stiff suits or formal wear. So we gave it very non-corporate style direction, and that's what it produced for us. Now, if we go down to the end, so I've duplicated the slide here, okay? I've recreated that very same slide in a different format. All I've done is I've replaced in that slide here, instead of being non-formal wear, I changed the text here to business formal wear. Okay, just for reference, if I go to the top, the actors should be smart casual to business casual. That's what it says there. I overtyped that. I just overtyped it and I copied it down here, business formal wear. So we've changed on the slide. If I go back here, we've changed now to a slightly different, more corporate style. Now, if we just play this back at the beginning and we just scroll through this, we can see there's characters here stood around a table. We've got people here giving a high five, and then we've got people at the end stood around the table as well. And that matches, and I haven't changed the visual aspects of it, okay? We've still got people stood around the table, people giving each other a high five. I'm just moving the playhead along for speed, and then people stood around the table at the end. So the visuals are almost the same. It's just the style of characters that I've changed, and I only changed it by updating that prompt. That's all I did, okay? And that's the great thing about the templates is that the prompts are there for you. You can just go ahead and change it as you need to. How did we do that? Well, we've taken the entire prompting ecosystem one step further, and we've developed a solution for you, which is our AI prompt director. I've got to be honest with you, in my 11 years at Powtoon, there is nothing that is, I believe, as groundbreaking as the AI prompt director, because this allows you to go from a text document and okay video to something truly cinematic. And I'll show you how we do that. We're exclusively sharing this with you today. At the end of the webinar, just as you leave, you'll be asked if you want a copy of this AI prompt director to leave your email, and we'll send it to you. Okay. It's in its like beta phase at the moment, and we're giving it you for free during that phase. This prompt director guides you step by step through creating professional prompts. It's available here. It's available through for everyone who's registered to the webinar. Just leave your details at the end and we'll send it to you. But it gives you the opportunity to create professional prompts, which effectively turns you into a master video creator. You can go off and be your own Patty Jenkins, your own George Lucas, Steven Spielberg. You would need to be an Oscar-winning scriptwriter in order to generate the type of prompts we're going to show you generated by our AI director. Okay. So let me show you how easy it is to work. Very simple. You go to once you've got the link, you go to our AI prompt director, you click on create prompts. Okay. For the purpose of this, we're going to create a safety training video for a manufacturing company. Okay. So give you the example, we're going to want to create a safety training video for a manufacturing company. So you open the prompt director and it'll ask you what type of video do you want to create. This is important. So we're going to choose training video and then we click continue. Okay. It's asking you now to describe your story. What is the story you need to tell? Of course, you need to feed the prompt director in order to get prompts back from it. Now, the more detail you give here, the better the results you will get. Okay. Now, for the purpose of time, I've already added in, just before this session, added in a prompt here, or not a prompt, I've added in like a brief. Okay. It could be that you've got a brief from your team or from your subject matter expert who's sending it to you. I need a video on XYZ. This is what you would put in here. Basic stuff. So training video about safety, featuring a safety officer talking about the importance of helmets, work gloves, and high visibility vests. It's important that every time something is explained, it's also visually demonstrated. That's it. That's the only brief I've given to the prompt director so far. Okay. Now, we choose our visual style. We've got lots of different styles here. More will be available in time. We're going to just stick with stylized corporate elegance. I think most people would probably use that. How many scenes? Let's say, just for the purpose of this demonstration, we're going to use 8 scenes. Okay. Now, you have an option to put in more details if you want. Now, this element here is optional, right? But for consistency and quality, we recommend you take a couple of extra minutes to fill in this information. So as an example here, it's asking me for strategic objectives. What's the key learning that you want your viewers or your learners to take away? What's the actionable insight you want them to leave that video with? So I put in, I want them to take away the fact that they always need to wear safety gloves, helmets, and always wear high visibility jackets. Okay. It's optional, but it'll significantly improve the results. Okay. Then it's asking me who's my audience. I put employees. I'm not putting a call to action in for time. You can choose from a tone of voice. We'll just leave it like that. Who's in our story? I'm giving it a character, Alex Rivera, 30-year-old safety officer. Okay. Again, for consistency, if you want all your slides to be consistent in look and feel and character, add your character in, or characters. Okay. Any product or items or props you want to showcase? Yeah. I want to showcase safety helmet, heavy duty work gloves, and high visibility vests, because that is the actionable insight I want them to take away, the importance of using those in the workplace. Don't leave things to chance. Put in a location for all locations. I put an active manufacturing plant with moving forklifts. That's it. That's the only direction that I've given the prompt director. Okay, that's it. Nothing more. I do want to include background music, and away we go. Now, the system now is taking all that input and it's creating a comprehensive story framework. It's actually now creating a narrative, an entire story for me. Okay. So it's taking what I've put in and it's creating a story for me. I'm just going to open up this story. This is not the prompt. This is just a narrative, an outline of our video. I'll just read a couple of sentences. The training video opens with Alex Rivera, the plant safety officer, standing confidently in the bustling manufacturing facility, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so it's giving me that. Now, if anything doesn't work for you, you want to edit anything, you certainly can do. Just click on edit. Characters, it's giving me a breakdown of the character. It's actually giving me his or her or their visual identity. So Alex Rivera stands at an even 6 feet tall. Now, I've not given it this information. It's turned what I've given it into a detailed, incredibly detailed and complex script or narrative. It's incredible. Again, if anything here doesn't work for you, you can edit everything. Voice tone, personality traits, locations. I gave it the location of the manufacturing plant floor. It decided to expand on that and give me another scene as well of safety training. That's brilliant. And the products that I've put on here, if you remember the items I put in were safety helmet, heavy duty work gloves, and high visibility vests. Okay, we'll move on to the next scene. So what's it doing now? Now it is essentially creating the storyboard. So now it's essentially breaking down my story into 8 slides. And here are those 8 slides. Let me just see if there's something I can do about the screen. And it's broken down the 8 slides and it's created that story scene by scene. And you can read through and ensure that the story aligns with your vision. Okay. So in scene 1 here, we've got Alex introduces himself and the video's purpose. Alex Rivera is the character. The location is the manufacturing plant floor. The dialogue is, hi, I'm Alex Rivera, your safety officer, yada. I can edit the dialogue here. It's giving me dialogue on these scenes. If, for example, I wanted to make Alex's introduction maybe a little bit more natural, I can just remove Alex. I can remove Rivera and just say, hi, I'm Alex, and that type of thing. We're happy with that. We'll continue on to the next stage. Now, what's happening now? Now it's generating the actual prompts for me. This is where the magic happens, okay? It's going to now build a highly detailed and complex prompt for each scene based on all those 10 principles with all those aspect covers, okay? It's going to give me consistent characters, consistent environments and props or items throughout each scene. And this is prompt mastery, okay? This is how you get the incredible quality of your Google VO3 video by these prompts. These are the prompts. These are the 8 prompts it's generated for me. The 8 prompts because I selected 8 scenes. If there's any prompt here that I'm not happy with, I can enhance it. I can edit it. What you need to do at this stage is click copy all scenes and ideally save it to a Word document, because the way it works at the moment is if you were to close out this scene or close out this window, those prompts are lost. You'd have to regenerate them, which isn't a big deal, but still you want the consistency here. So for the purpose of this, I've already copied these scenes to a Word document. There we go. And this is my Word document where they are saved. Okay. I've saved it here as well because I appreciate the blurriness of the, it was quite blurry, the screen share, and the prompts were in a small box, a small dialog box. You may not have seen them, so I've copied them to this Word document. And you can see how detailed this first prompt is. Okay, these 2 pages, these 2 A4 pages are one scene. But what you'll notice is that the prompt has been broken down into those different elements of those prompting principles I showed you before, right? So things like subject, it's got Alex as the subject, it's got the action he's taking, the dialogue, it's broken down the context, location, yada, yada. So we're following cinematography, wide shot, good lighting, things that you probably would have never considered before or never really even planned to include in your story. Now the narrative has been created for you. And all you would then do is copy those into your video, right? Bear with me 1 second there. Yeah, you copy those. There we go. There's the prompt director. Copy those into your video. And that's what I've done previously. I hope everyone can see. I appreciate that. Again, maybe the blurry screen sharing is there. But what I've done is I've copied all those prompts into the script, on the studio under the slide description. Now, we are shortly going to have a feature that will generate or that will automatically copy all those prompts directly into the studio for you, okay? But for now, you need to copy and paste it there. And you can see how we've done that. And there we go. So it's a highly detailed prompt that we've put in there. What you would do at this point is once it's been added into your script, into the slide description, you click on Generate Video, and it opens up the video generation tool for you with the prompt already there. You can, of course, add in a reference image, which I mentioned to you before. If you click on a reference image, it'll open up your Powtoon library. If you want the look and feel maybe to be of your actual office or your actual manufacturing plant, get a photo of that plant, get a photo of that office, add it into Powtoon, and then you'll be able to add that reference image there, and Google VO will recreate that scene, that office environment or that manufacturing plant environment as much as possible. Switch over to VO3 because that's the most advanced version of VO. It contains the dialogue as well. And then you'll see there's a duration of 8 seconds by default. You'll notice that whenever you add a slide, it'll default that slide to 10 seconds. Just reduce that down to 8 seconds if you're using Google VO3 to make sure it all lines up nicely. And the finished article looks something like this. This is the video that I created earlier with the same script, and I've generated those videos generated those slides for the video as well. I've also added nice transitions between each slide, so the scene transitions nicely and fluidly and smoothly onto the next scene. And let's play that video back from the beginning.
Hi, I'm Alex, and welcome. This video highlights the importance of personal protective equipment.
This safety helmet protects you from falling objects and head injuries. Always ensure it fits properly. That could have been much worse. Always wear your safety helmet. It's there to protect you. These work gloves protect your hands from cuts and abrasions. Make sure they fit well and are in good condition. Don't risk it. Gloves are essential for protecting your hands. It only takes a second to put them on.
Here at the factory, we maintain safety. Thank you for watching.
There we go. So there's that video that's been created for you. It's worth noticing, or it's worth noticing at this point, that what we've actually done is recreated that video in Powtoon. Of course, we built that video in Powtoon together with the actual Powtoon assets. So we've combined both Google VO3, and then we've gone into the studio, of course, and added those additional assets, things like this opening slide, right? So this opening slide we've used. We've added an intro slide, if you want, by way of text and colors and whatnot. And the other thing we've done is we've enhanced the important points on these scenes by using text. So we've used Powtoon shapes here, some props, some text, of course, to elevate the message that we're trying to make here. We've used an exclamation mark to enhance the message. Okay. Great. So if I just, oh, excuse me. Okay. So there are a few important points that I want to mention when using Google VO3. Okay. Expectations. So there are some pitfalls that you need to be aware of when using Google VO3. So things like the model itself, the VO model itself. So Google are constantly updating their VO model, okay, which means the prompt that you put into it today might result in a different video tomorrow. But that's absolutely fine, right? You just need to know that moving forward. There are also limitations to what it will show you. So it won't show you any blood, any violence, children, that type of thing. When the man was cutting, then he picked up like a sharp and possibly hot piece of metal, if you remember. You won't be able to generate like blood or that man injuring his hand. VO at the moment won't show anything like that, which is why we've used Powtoon, like an exclamation point on that scene to elevate the message, elevate the warning of it's not safe not using gloves. Okay. Consider your own enterprise needs. Okay, so like I said, if you have specific look and feel, if you have a certain environment, you must include in your video, upload that reference image to get that to match that sort of brand tone, brand identity as you need to. What I would say is embrace these limitations and work with them, not against them, and you'll be absolutely fine. So let's recap what we've talked about today. We've covered a lot of ground, I appreciate, with the AI prompt director. And I do apologize for the fact that it was blurry before. Hopefully you saw enough of it to get, to get the context of what we were doing here. Certainly in the recording, it should be very clear for you, which we will send out. But essentially, the AI prompt director is very straightforward. You just follow the prompts on the screen, follow the instructions on the screen, and away you go. So we're giving you the AI prompt director, which we're giving you free access to. So you're going to be able to master the art of prompting and get the input and instructions you need to create stunning VO3 text-to-video results, okay? Saving yourself massive amounts of time and money on your video communications. Okay, I appreciate we've got a few minutes left. We're going to go to the Q&A. Okay, so here we go. So we've got a few questions. I don't have the names of the people who've asked them, so I'll just shout them out and get to them. Is it possible to include a company logo and ask to be used on people's costumes? So at the moment, VO won't recreate an actual logo in its video footage, just for copyright reasons, okay? But there are things you can do, like ensure the clothing matches the brand identity you need to. Dicom did it in that earlier video when they were drilling in the road. They had to have specific safety vests, specific colors and patterns, so you can do things like that. Here we go. Let's have a look. Can the video be animated to look like Powtoon animations? So at the moment, Google VO will generate B-roll video, so humans, essentially, human stock footage rather than animations. But of course, Powtoon does have its own animation tool that we want to use. I'm going to go back into the Q&A myself and try and get some questions to ask. Here we go. Here we go. The screen is blurry. No one. Okay, fine. No problem at all. We've got a question here. How are you stitching together the 8-second VO videos into a longer video? So how are we stitching together? Well, essentially, it's in a studio, right? So these are all, here we go. These are 8-second videos. And someone's asking us, how do we stitch it together into a longer video? Well, inside the studio, each video is a slide, and all those slides together make one video. You just simply export it as an MP4, and away you go. Hopefully, I've understood your question correctly, but there we go. Let's have a look at other questions. Okay, Lena's asked a great question here. Lena's saying, what's the difference between creating a video directly with Google VO and doing it through Powtoon? Well, I think I mentioned this before, Lena, but the great advantage of using Google VO inside Powtoon is you have access not only to Google VO, but all of Powtoon's assets as well. Our entire huge library of prompts, shapes, images, characters, avatars. We haven't touched on any of this today. But of course, if you want to, so for example, the point I was raising before was this guy here who was cutting on cutting on the table, and there was a little bit of material here, a little bit of metal that he picked up with his bare hands. Okay, now that's a dangerous feature because VO doesn't support like injuries and blood and things like that. We couldn't show that, so we added this exclamation point, which you wouldn't be able to do in Google VO alone. So we've added this exclamation point to enhance and elevate that warning of danger. Okay. Let's have a look at the other questions. What else have we got? Bear with me 1 second. Just looking for more questions. We've got a question for Cindy. Cindy says, how do you deal with cybersecurity issues of integration of company material? Brilliant. So I'll just repeat that question. Cindy's asking, how do we deal with cybersecurity issues of integration of company material? This is obviously a common concern when people talk about artificial intelligence, particularly if your organization is dealing with a lot of IP and sensitive client information, potentially, or your own sensitive client information. So Powtoon uses VO integration partners that adhere to the highest standards of security and data protection. In the sense of generative video, we're using Google, right? So all the organizations that we deal with, and I'll mention things like avatars as well. We use an integration for avatars with a company called HeyGen and Colossian. All our integration partners, as I say, adhere to the highest standards. You can be sure that we're holding all our partners and ourselves to the highest standards when it comes to enterprise security. So all our partners, including Powtoon, are ISO 27001 certified, which basically means it's the way that we protect information security, the way that we protect your information. Okay. Does the company need to get an NDA with Powtoon? If you need to sign an NDA with Powtoon, that's absolutely fine. Okay. So I appreciate we're at the end of the session now. I want to thank you all for your time. I do apologize for the streaming issue we had earlier. Not a lot I could do about that, but in the recording, as I say, you will get a clean copy, hopefully, of that. It certainly captured it fine on my screen. What I would say as well is just as we're exiting the webinar, there will be a survey that's going to pop up for you. The survey is going to ask you a few questions, including the content if you found it relevant today, as well as if you want access to the AI prompt director, and also gives you options to suggest future webinars, future events that you would like to see Powtoon host for you. So on behalf of myself and the entire Powtoon team, I want to wish you all a very good rest of your day, rest of your week. Thank you so much for your time, for your engagement, for your questions. I wish we could have had 2 hours here because I appreciate there's a lot of questions unanswered. But until next time, thank you so much for your time and happy Powtooning.